guys, welcome to the Relationship Rocket Science channel. I'm your love and advice coach Jessica. Today doing viewer questions. So I've had over the months of whether I'm actually engaged with you all or not, I still have questions that are kind of pouring into my email and in my inbox. Today I wanted to take some time to go over some of the questions that I have heard or been asked and I think will be useful to the class. So let's just get right into it. Dear coach, my boyfriend of 4 years told me he was invited by his cousin to go to Florida in 2 weeks. I think the cousin was going to be doing a lot of girl watching, partying, and going to the beaches. His cousin is recently divorced and very bitter towards women. He's 48 and I wish he would act his age. He has a real chip on his shoulders and a mouth to match. My boyfriend said he is not going because he is too busy at work. I'm hurt because he didn't discuss this with me. I was never included on their plans. Am I insecure? Huh? So, what? Let me get this straight. Your boyfriend is not going on the trip that makes you nervous about him going on. And you're upset because you weren't invited? Number one, why would you be invited on a dude's trip? Are you somehow connected to them in a way that they relate to you like a male? Do you all have that kind of relationship, or is this your man? You asked, am I insecure? Yeah, but I think the main problem here that I see with the question that you asked is that you have judged his cousin relative to the issues that he's gone through in his own relationships, and you associate his cousin's behaviors automatically to your boyfriend because you won't necessarily be present. That is a fallacy and a mistake that many people in relationships make. Just because somebody that your person is associated with behaves in a particular way does not mean that the person that you're with is going to behave in that way. You would be able to see those actions or those behaviors prior to him being away from you. Your lack of presence is not the end-all be-all. It does not determine whether a person is good or bad. So you thinking that you can control a situation by being in somebody's space is silly and it's inaccurate. So I think what you need to focus more on is deciding whether or not you can trust this person. If you cannot trust him, that's not the cousin's fault, and that's not your fault for not being able to be with him at every waking second. He's just untrustworthy. And on the flip side of that, if you can trust him, well, then you just need to do that. Let him go and have his fun. The issue of you not being invited. Yeah, healthy relationships, healthy men have friends and family, and they want to do things without you, and that's okay. I do realize that it takes some of us time to find our level of security within our own relationship. However, there are some thoughts and feelings and emotions that a person is going to have that you just kind of need to keep to yourself. Everything that you feel is not something that needs to be addressed with the other person just because you felt it. Next question. Dear coach, my husband is a computer engineer and I'm a writer and an artist. He calls me random access, and he is so sequentially oriented that I am crawling up the wall. We have been married less than a year and we are arguing and frustrated with each other. How do we make things better in our relationship even though we're so different? Well, I would say that you all chose each other because you are so different. I think that being different is not the same as having a deficiency. And this is where we get stuck in our relationships. If we look at the other person and say, oh, women are too emotional and men are too logical. Well, don't we kind of need both of those in order to be well-rounded people who are successful and look at issues from all different vantage points? So I think that if we're going to find peace and happiness in your relationship, then you have to start with appreciating the differences that both of you have. And if you're the one who's able to accept him, but he's not able to accept you, I think that you have to have that conversation with him. Trying to defend what you do to a person who doesn't understand it is kind of a moot point. But just asking him to have the respect for you as a person who isn't like him is where sometimes relationships get stale. Marriages go stale. People are tired of each other because you see each other every single day, and we just honestly take each other for granted. But your artsy fartsy, whimsical self is probably what he was drawn to initially. And so maybe you need to refresh who you are. Maybe you need to bring back elements of who that person was so that he can remember what it was that he fell in love with. Give him a reason to love it again. The tone in your question is, I'm hearing irritation. I'm feeling like you're frustrated with his buttoned up approach at life. But much like I'm asking you to ask him for respect for who you are, I'm going to ask you to do the same. My marriage is set up similar to this. I am the whimsical one, while my husband is the logical, sensible one. And the way that I would like him to respond to certain things isn't how he responds. And I had to actually learn that isn't a knock or a slight against me. It's just how he operates. So over the years, I've had to learn to appreciate who he is and why he's that way, and not fault him for it, or not take away from why I should and can continue to love him because of it. So I hope that helps. That's it, guys. Or maybe I'll just answer one more. Here's one. Dear Coach, my husband just told me this morning that he thinks I drink too much and that I should get help. What do you think? Why are you asking me? I don't know you. Do you drink too much? I mean, okay. Excuse me. Okay, your husband is the person that you set in place to correct you, to tell you your slip is showing, to let you know that I can see you and I'm worried about you, or to pull you up or to pull you in. So when it's time for him to do that, my question to you is, why are you questioning him? Even if you don't think that you drink too much, could you not still look at how he's feeling and ask him, why do you feel this way? Think about the consequences of what it means to continue to drink to a certain degree where your husband thinks that you have a problem. It does take a toll. It will take a toll on your marriage, your relationship, and how well you all get along, and whether he feels like he can, be vulnerable with you and share his concerns about you and with you and to you. These things matter. So whether Coach Jessica thinks that you drink too much or not is not really, or should not be, your concern. It really should be, why is my husband looking at me in this light? And then thinking to yourself, do I drink too much? What does this mean? I think this has to be defined, or it can be defined differently for every individual. Are you drinking to solve problems? Are you drinking to not deal with problems? Are you drinking to feel better about your problems? Well, why are you drinking? You need to know why you're drinking. You need to know what it's purposed to do. And if these answers are not something that push you forward in your life or make you a better person, then maybe you do need to address the amount of alcohol that you consume. We're adults, you have to govern yourself accordingly. But if your spouse, the person who is supposed to love you and supposed to support you and supposed to correct you, says something to you about how your behavior makes them feel, I don't think that ignoring it or asking outside sources about what they think really matters. You need to dig into your relationship, dig into that communication, and find out where their where your spouse is coming up with his feelings of concern for you, and then address those issues internally with yourself. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm gonna let you go. Next time we'll have more questions, and if you have questions for me, your advice coach Jessica, please send them to AdviceCoachJessica@gmail.com. You can also inbox me on Facebook, and Relationship Rocket Science is my page. Make sure you go there and you like that page and send me your messages there. You can also find me on Instagram, Relationship Rocket Science, as well, for quick minute tips and whiteboard wonders is what I call them. Great to see you guys, and we'll see you next time. Please take care.